All right, viewers, Mirror Now brings this special campaign for you to reclaim your roads and make it safer. At this point of time, I'll go across to my colleague Afrida, who is joining us, and she will be going to take forward this particular story from here.
Thank you, Riyanka. Thank you so much. Yes, this is a special campaign on Mirror Now to reclaim your roads and make it safer. As Riyanka mentioned, two-wheelers flouting traffic norms has become typical on Indian roads. There needs to be strong deterrence against bikers breaking rules. As per 2021 NCRB report, two-wheelers have caused almost 70,000 deaths. This accounts for 44.5% of total road accidents in India. That's why this is important, and that's why we have taken it up as a special campaign for your safety. Our continuous focus pushing authorities to ensure that rogue bikers follow the rules. What we're trying to do now is approach the top officers in the traffic department in various metro cities to give us an understanding from their perspective, from law enforcement perspective, where are we going wrong. Joining me now here on the channel, Mr. Kapil Kumar Saratkar, Additional Commissioner Traffic from the city of Chennai. Very good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for making time for us. Bikers, as you know, Mr. Saratkar, moving around with the least amount of care and caution, scant regard for rules. It seems to be a pattern everywhere. Chennai is no exception, I believe. Do you concede that two-wheeler offences are not penalised enough? There is poor deterrence and weak enforcement.
Yeah, what you are saying is true in the sense that the figures, what you said, around 44%, our experience is also the same with Greater Chennai City Police. Almost around 50% or 49.5% of our accidents involve, fatal accidents involve two-wheelers. At the same time, another around 20% are what we call the self-fallen category, where a two-wheeler doesn't hit any other vehicle or any pedestrian, but hits an object. And it is true that they cause, especially in cities, they cause a lot of accidents. Right. And there are many factors to it. The most important, of course, is the helmet compliance. The helmet compliance, where we see that in Greater Chennai City Police, daily we register almost 3,000 cases for not wearing helmet itself. With this, actually, the compliance has gone up for riders. It's now almost around 85 to 87%. But for pillion riders, it remains a concern, which is still lagging behind at around 15 to 17%. That is one thing. Apart from that, young boys indulging in underage driving or trying to race, bike race, or do some wheeling. That is also sincere. This thing, what we do is we register cases against these people. We call their parents also. And many times we have basically registered cases against the parents also. So that is the enforcement part. Apart from that, we keep on doing awareness through our social media campaigns. At the same time, even parents or schools also, schools and colleges, coaching classes, we go and create awareness for not indulging in this type of rash behavior.
Right. You mentioned, the youth, the young lot who often like to, get into adventurism on the road with a two-wheeler. So there must be some strict monitoring of the situation. What is our concern here is that Chennai, again, is a city under mend. There are metro constructions. There are diversions created in routes on a regular basis. My colleagues on ground who are reporting from Chennai tell me that the modifications are not followed. They are issued by your department, but bikers don't follow it. It leads to chaos. How is the traffic department dealing with the violations?
Yeah, this problem happens when a person is habituated to use a particular road for years. On a particular day, when we tell him that for next 2 or 3 years, due to metro work, you will not be able to use this road and you have to take this diversion. So maybe some distance which was taking to him, which was just about 300 meters, becomes an example. For an example, become 1.5 kilometers to 2 kilometers. So there we see that tendency doing. What we do is 3-4 things. One is we basically, when we do that, we give a press release informing everybody. Next thing is we put our diversion boards properly. Then organizations like CMRL, who are doing the metro work, they put their own people there. We call them marshals, to ensure it, because at every junction where the work is going on, we are not able to man through policemen. That is one thing. Apart from that, what we do is we register case. Like now also on what we call a wrong side drive, a road on which in a particular direction where you are not supposed to drive, where a person drives, we call it wrong side. Daily, almost around 1,000 to 1,100 people are fined for that. Apart from that, we have ANPR cameras in 11 locations, 15 cameras, where wrong side, which are prone to wrong side driving. And there basically where these cases directly get registered without any human intervention also. We have a control room where we just get a photo, we have to validate it, and we register cases. So that is another way how we enforce.
But this is a system, Mr. Saratkar, the e-challan system, what you're talking about, is it really effective? Because from what we understand, earlier the system used to be a person is physically intercepted, he's required, his license is confiscated, there's a fine imposed there and then. Now, because there is a deferment that is possible, you break a rule, you will pay later. That itself, do you think, is becoming a problem and allowing bikers to take a lot of liberties? Because they know they can get away for now. Baad ka dekha jayega, they'll pay up. And they never end up paying up, it seems.
Yeah, and there are two ways of registering cases, as you said. One is by interception, by actually physically stopping person and registering. Second is all these electronic methods. So our experience shows that the compliance of payment of fine is lesser in the ANPR cameras compared to the interception. But the advantage that it gives is with a very less use of manpower, we can register more cases, and then it's up to us how to increase that payment of fine, for which we have we have call centers, we have a bulk SMS system, plus on special days we have a special drive where we physically intercept people, and once we put a vehicle number in each challan machine, we can find that 7 or 6 or some cases are pending against them, and then we tell them to pay the fine. Unfortunately, presently there is nothing to ensure that we seize the vehicle immediately and not allow the person to drive, even if the case is pending. So I think in future something has to come where in future when they go for insurance, they don't get insurance, or they get a higher insurance at a higher premium in case they want a new insurance because of the rash behavior earlier. So that is the cause of concern, but that is the cause of concern not only in electronic type of cases, but even when we physically stop also. If a person wants to say that give me a challan and I'll go away, as of now I will not pay. There's nothing that we can intercept him immediately. Only on the what we call 6-head cases, there is a provision where we write for their suspension or cancellation of license. That only is a deterrence.
So you are saying that in that sense, the traffic department also has its limitations. If a violator does not pay up immediately, the challan is issued, but beyond that, there is nothing that the traffic department itself can do to make a person pay the penalty. What I also want to ask you is that is the city well covered when you're talking about cameras, when you're talking about physical deployment of cops? Are all the areas covered? Because I'm getting to know from, again, my colleagues on ground that late hours and early mornings, there's very thin deployment, and that is when liberties are taken and accidents happen.
Yeah, with the available resources, with a force of 3,000 strong traffic policemen, we try to spread our resources during all hours and all places. But during night time, actually, what you have said is correct. Vehicle traffic is less. People are more likely to overspeed. That is the time when we are finding more cases of driving under influence of liquor. So what we have during those times is basically, you may see that our junctions are not manned. Maybe signals are also on not on green and red. But so what happens is during those times, we have like 55 police stations. We have 47 petrol vehicles who go around, who create an element of surprise, and different places we book the people. That is one thing. Apart from that, daily in the city, at 10 places we have checkpoints where the main focus is basically to check overspeeding as well as driving under influence. And you will be surprised that with such heavy this thing, daily we are still registering around 150 to 170 cases for driving under influence of liquor in one day in particular city.
Right. These are offences which must be penalized strongly, and our entire idea was to hear from your end as well on how law is enforced. Our idea was actually to awaken the system to this menace because it's the safety of people traveling on the road and our metros. Clearly, rogue bikers make it that much more difficult for our already congested roads, where a city like Chennai, like you mentioned, there are constructions happening. So important, therefore, that rules are followed. Thank you so much, Mr. Kapil Kumar Saratkar, for joining us here on Mirror Now today. Right, with that, we take a very short break on the program. Thanks very much for watching. Let's take a short break. We'll be back with more.